back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. I put a poll out on the channel. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I was asking you cats, what is it that you want from the channel this week? So I know I've been all over the place a little bit in terms of what I've been getting to, and I wanted to make this week about you guys, because without you, the channel wouldn't exist. So I put it out there, and you guys wanted classics, and Dirty Dike Consequences is one of those tracks that was recommended, and actually is one of those tracks that I've had on my list for a long time. It was requested probably a couple of years ago, and it just gets put on the list and then kind of forgotten, right? You get so many, it just gets kind of like that friggin' sediment, man. It just keeps getting piled on, and then further down, it just gets squished all the way down there, man. So I'm glad the request was there, reminded me that it was on the list, and I've always got time for Dike, man. So I think this is produced by a cat named Mr. Boss. So yeah, man, let's jump in. See what he's got for us.
Yeah. I was scared of release, every sin barely redeemed. It never seemed fair, I just stare and perceive. And you expected me to care and believe from a chair when you're speaking, or care when I leave? Fuck off. Now how the fuck could I prepare to be free when my hair's clean shaved and I'm there on the street? Are you staring at me?
Oh man, Mr. Boss, nice production on this, and just the way I'm bringing it back, man. Just the way Dike comes on this track, it's so, in one way, contradicting himself, right? Because in one way, he's saying that his sins, he was in jail, spending some time in jail, sins still didn't seem like he repented, or he didn't spend enough time for his sins to be fully forgiven. But at the same time, he's sitting there saying, I shouldn't be in here at all for the sins that I've committed. So it's an interesting way to start this track, man. And sitting in that chair, looking at it, I guess it's, I don't know what it's called over there, but over here it's parole. Like staring at the parole board, you're giving your little spiel, talking about why they should let you free early, perhaps, or just put you out on parole, why you deserve to be out there. And he's saying his spiel, he's giving his story, and he's looking at these people, know that they don't even give a shit about him, that he's just another number, another shaved head, another person pushed through the system, and they couldn't care less whether he was on the street or not. But yet he's got to convince them to let him free. That's a lot of deep shit, man, put in to 15 seconds of the track. Shit. This might be a little bit of a different Dirty Dike, man. Even when he's hard, he's got some hard stuff to talk about. He gets some comedy in there. I don't know if he's going to get any comedy in this one, man. Doesn't have that feel, especially with the jail and the black and white stuff. He may surprise me, but yeah, man, what a great way to start this track.
Yeah. I was scared of release, every sin barely redeemed. It never seemed fair, I just stare and perceive. And you expected me to care and believe from a chair when you're speaking, or care when I leave? Fuck off. Now how the fuck could I prepare to be free when my hair's clean shaved and I'm there on the street? Are you staring at me? I've forgotten what a tramp is. Mad shit was lost in the bottom of my sandpit. That pissed me off, it's potluck and not the world's end. 14 months to get dumped by your girlfriend. I turned chauvinistic, went ballistic, but never showed a bit of it, and learned where I did fit. It's business. Life took a piss where my wish list.
God, life took a piss for my wish list. I cut it off short, but I'm guessing where my wish list is. Anyway, man, that whole thing too. He's in there for 14 months, and his girlfriend left him. He's got to he's saying it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, he became chauvinistic. He started probably treating women like shit, punishing all women for this one woman's behavior, this one woman's betrayal, the one woman's refuse to stay like the last 14 months and wait for him, and that turned his entire behavior negative towards women. Is that kind of that thing too, where he's like something about like why y'all staring at me or something to that effect? Is that more of like something you get in your head, like that little bit of that self-conscious where you're walking down the street because he's got the shaved head? Is that something you do in the UK? Everyone gets their head shaved, but walking down the street and everybody, even though most people may not know you've been in prison, or maybe because of the shaved head, people take it for granted you're in prison or whatever, man. But thinking that everybody's thinking shit about you, man. Even if they just happen to glance in your way, you think they're staring at you, and kind of get that really low self-esteem, that low self-confidence. You think that everyone sees you as a criminal, as a piece of shit. Man, this one's deep. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. Let's go.
When my hair's clean shaved and I'm there on the street, are you staring at me? I've forgotten what a tramp is. Mad shit was lost in the bottom of my sandpit. That pissed me off, it's potluck and not the world's end. 14 months to get dumped by your girlfriend. I turned chauvinistic, went ballistic, but never showed a bit of it, and learned where I did fit. It's business. Life took a piss when my wish list slipped through my fingertips and ripped into thin strips. I've been spitting since prison, so I sit crisp and dismiss these visions till my wig splits. It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down the line of forgotten youth? It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down a thin line of forgotten youth? I'm sorry that I broke the law, but you were smoking draw way before I clocked the open door. You know the score.
Before I clocked the open door. I'm gonna bring this back here. I want to hear this. I want to hear this hook again, because this chorus. I want to hear it again.
Till my wig splits. It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down the line of forgotten youth? It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down a thin line of forgotten youth? I'm so
It's interesting, right? Because he's saying this is who he is, and maybe because he knows the consequences, it makes it easier for him to be this person. And maybe it's the fear of not knowing the consequences makes you forget who you were as a kid, right? Because, I mean, we all got in shit as kids. Most people did anyway. Most people did shit they shouldn't have done, said things they shouldn't, hurt people, whatever, man. But he's saying, this is who I am. I know the consequences. So I'm going to continue being who I am. And do these fear of consequences keep you in that box, that 9 to 5 box? Or is he not even saying that? He's just saying, like, listen, you've got your 9 to 5. You're doing your thing. That in itself has its own consequences. And I'm going to stay out here being me. And I'll deal with my consequences. You worry about yours. Because everything comes with consequences. No matter what life you choose.
Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down a thin line of forgotten youth? I'm sorry that I broke the law, but you were smoking draw way before I clocked the open door. You know the score, I was lonely, broken poor, terrified of getting mesmerised by my sober thoughts. So, it's back to drinking again, with a qualified skill of how to think with a pen. The brink of my head assembled with a kink and a bend. The lingering stench of death as I'm sniffing again. His prisoner bled and shimmered with the glisten.
This whole second verse is brilliant. I'm bringing this back. Man, what an in-depth, like what a look into his mind at this point of his life. Like, long before I clocked that open door, like you were getting high in front of me. You weren't showing me how to be the person. Like, you didn't give me the blueprint to be a better person, right? So don't look down upon me. I don't know if that means like clock the open doors. Did he break into somebody's house? Did he steal a car? I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure what got him in jail. But he said, long before that happened, you were my blueprint. I saw your lifestyle. So don't blame me right off the top. And thinking with a pen, I love that line, man. It makes me think of that Kid bar where he says, I can't believe they pay me to think out loud, or I can't believe I think out loud for money. It's basically the same type of thing, right? Like, all those thoughts going down on a paper will eventually lead to him making a song, to him eventually making money. It's just interesting. Is that mindset? Is that like journaling is a great way in therapy, right? To get your mind in a good place. It's kind of what Dike does, but writing lyrics. It's a form of therapy. It's that thinking, getting all those thoughts out of his head on paper, in a lyrical way. And the idea of being sober was like, I can't remember exactly what he was saying. I mean, like I said, that the deep look into his mind at this point, it's quite amazing to me. I'm gonna hear that again. It's so brilliant. It's so brilliantly written.
I have forgotten youth. I'm sorry that I broke the law. But you were smoking draw way before I clocked the open door. You know the score, I was lonely, broken poor, terrified of getting mesmerized by my sober thoughts. So, it's back to drinking again, with a qualified skill of how to think with a pen. The brink of my head assembled with a kink of the bend. The lingering stench of death as I'm sniffing again. This prisoner bled and shimmered with the glistening red. Wish I'd read instead of flicking through the pictures again. And yes, I guess stress does care when you're leaving. Screaming, scratching at the ceiling. Never had the reason. Clever lad detaching from the meaning. Staring round the cell that you're attacking your beliefs in. I'm packing what I need, and these are not adventures. I'm acting how I please, cause I've seen the consequences. It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down the line of forgotten youth? It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work?
I'm sorry. I gotta bring this back. This part here. I gotta hear this again.
Read instead of flicking through the picture.
That thing too. I wish I read more rather than flicking through the pictures again. Like he realizes that he wasted that time in jail. He wished he actually took some time to educate himself and rather than just looking at the pictures. Another like deep inside, like that kind of looking back at that time, and it's like we've always talked about, man. It's whether or not you can look at those times and learn from those mistakes or learn from those choices. Not necessarily always mistakes, just learn from the choices, right? And that's what he's saying. I wish I had taken more responsibility. I wish I had taken that time to better myself. This whole friggin' verse, man, it's unbelievable.
With a kink of the bend, the lingering stench of death as I'm sniffing again. His prisoner bled and shimmered with the glistening red. Wish I'd read instead of flicking through the pictures again. And yes, I guess stress does care when you're leaving. Screaming, scratching at the ceiling. Never had the reason. Clever lad detaching from the meaning. Staring round the cell that you're attacking your beliefs in. I'm packing what I need, and these are not adventures. I'm acting how I please, cause I've seen the consequences. It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down the line of forgotten youth? It's just a consequence of what I do. Man, I'm a rapper / criminal. What are you? Do you work a 9 to 5 in a flock of troops? Or are you walking down a thin line of forgotten youth?
Young men with a mind for revenge need little encouragement. You, above all, should know the consequences of the life you choose.
Consequences. death sentence. I'm such a time.
You look up anything that frightens you.
Embrace fate with open arms.
I hope you understand. Fuckface.
Time to talk now, the superintendent's gone.
But what do you expect me to be? Thick in the head the way you want me? Do what we tell you. Think what we tell you. Say what we tell you. Squawk. Be a fucking parrot. I hate you for putting me in here.
You put yourself in here.
Everyone trying to be tripe, never face the consequences. You probably only get a month for minor offenses.
Yeah, man, big up Sammy B-Side, Jam Baxter, Ed, man. Good to see those guys in the video. That was sick. After hearing that hook again, man, it makes me like that whole thing about walking that fine line of shit. Now I can't even remember what it said, but it's like that forgotten childhood type of thing, man. Like, kind of like maybe is he saying about that's the consequence of doing that 9 to 5 thing? Like that's that all these dreams and stuff you had as a kid. It's all these things you wanted to achieve, all these things you wanted to be. Kind of give that away, and you put yourself in a cubicle and you do a job, become a slave in a white collar, as they say. I think that's in Fight Club they say that. But yeah, man, it's just that idea, just giving that away, and that's the consequence of the life that you chose. And these times in jail, these times of deep introspective moments of being stuck in a cell and not even living, I guess, just waiting for the time to get in front of that parole board again. Dike has accepted that as his consequence, right? It's amazing because, like I was saying at the beginning of this track, it had that feel where it wasn't going to have that comedy in it, and I'm so used to that with Dike, man. Even when he's getting like so deep and dark and grungy, he'll come and slap you across the face with a dick joke or something. And there was none of that in here, man. It was just a true look into his mind, and I think it is one of the most absolutely brilliant songs I've ever heard, for truth. And some great samples there at the end, man. Mortal Technique. I think you hear Method Man in there. I even heard, I don't know if it's Possessed or Cyclone heard in there. But yeah, man, cool track. I loved everything about that, man. Thanks for the recommendation, and what a hell of a way to start the week, Classics Week here on the channel, man. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm sure you've heard it before, but why don't you go over to High Focus, give it another watch, man, or go stream it. If you haven't already bought it, buy that shit, man. Support these cats, show them some love, and I love you guys. Thanks for coming back day in and day out. Until next time, stay safe. Be good to each other.